Thank you, Mr. Chairman, very much. In 1990, I wrote the Children's Television Act to put limits on the advertising that can appear during kids' television shows. And then Congress passed that law and stopped advertisers from flooding children with an endless stream of commercials and manipulative marketing on TV. And those rules remain critical, but no analogous rules exist for the internet. Yet we know that today kids face a gauntlet of manipulative advertising online. Ms. Fox Johnson, do you agree that Congress needs to implement new safeguards to protect children from manipulative marketing online?
Senator Markey, thank you for your longstanding and steadfast commitment to protecting kids. I definitely agree that Congress needs to pass new rules.
Thank you. Dr. Jackler.
Oh, I certainly agree. Certainly in the tobacco sphere, it has permeated many channels of media which are frequented by kids, and that's something that should be brought to an end.
So kids are just manipulated into buying products at every turn on the internet. It's just almost a part of the culture of the internet. Do you agree with that?
I do.
Yeah, you agree with that, Ms. Johnson?
Definitely.
Well, that's why Senator Blumenthal and I have introduced the Kids Internet Design and Safety Act, the KIDS Act, which establishes rules for the road for kids' commercial content on the internet. Our bill will stop websites from pushing ads to kids that include product placement in children's online content, host selling, which is when a character in a video that a child is watching appears in an ad next to that video, program length advertising, meaning commercials that last as long as the actual video a child is watching online, and advertisements for dangerous products like nicotine and tobacco online. Ms. Johnson, do you agree that these safeguards are crucial to protecting children online?
Senator Markey, I do. We've talked about how host selling and product placement and the pushing of unsafe products are particularly pernicious for children online, so stopping these practices will go a long way towards protecting kids.
Yeah, Dr. Jackler, do you agree?
Certainly, products such as tobacco, alcohol, things that are inappropriate in terms of sexuality don't belong on children's TV. I will note that Juul ads ended up on Nickelodeon and on a number of children's math game sites. And that really was most inappropriate.
Yeah, children deserve information, not infomercials. And that's what these companies have figured out how to do. You know, the kids are there. They've got them as a captive audience on a program that the kids like, whether it be Nickelodeon or anything else. Now, why don't we just give them a program-length ad as well on a product that we want to hawk to them on channel 4, 5, 7, and 9? That would be prohibited. Can't do it. Over here on the internet, it's the Wild West, no rules, anything goes, and we just have to end that era here in our country. Today, companies take every opportunity to hook consumers when they're young and make them customers for life. One way to do that is targeted ads to children online. I've introduced the Bipartisan Children and Teens Online Privacy Protection Act with Senator Cassidy. And our legislation would place an outright ban on targeted marketing directed at children, which is inherently manipulative. Ms. Johnson, do you agree that any comprehensive federal privacy law must include heightened protections for children and teens, including a ban on targeted ads for kids?
I do agree, Senator Markey. We have to end behavioral ads for children. Kids don't want it, parents don't want it, and it contributes to a culture of surveillance. And also, if we ban targeted ads, we won't just have benefits in the marketplace. We'll also go a long way towards limiting information collection and the profiling of kids in the first place.
Yeah, and I know we've had difficulty in figuring out what the Privacy Bill of Rights for adults should be, but we go Congress after Congress after Congress after Congress, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years. A whole generation of kids just grows up with no protections. So I don't know if we can do adults, but in this Congress, at least we should be able to do children. Finally give them the protections, and maybe we'll be able to do adults at some point. But if we can't, we lose a generation of kids every 4 or 5 years. and it just makes no sense whatsoever that we don't have those protections in place. So the Child Online Privacy Protection Act of 1997 remains the Constitution for children's privacy, and I was proud to author that law, but that only covers kids under 13. We have to raise it to 16. We have to have more protections that parents can avail themselves of in order to demand that companies just completely and totally erase all information that they've gathered about children. We need a privacy bill of rights for children in our country online. We just saw the pernicious impact during the COVID crisis, and as we go back deeper into it once again, more and more children are going to be online more and more of the time. So if I can, I'd just like to ask whether or not we should have a complete ban on menthol e-cigarettes. Do you agree that we should have a complete ban on it? Attorney General Stein, yes or no?
Yes, sir. It's how kids get hooked.
And Dr. Jacklow, same question.
Absolutely. Menthol numbs the throat, is minty, and has long been a leading youth initiation brand. It should be banned to protect young people.
Yeah, thank you. And I know that when I was a kid, they tried to hawk something called Cools, which were kind of the entry-level cigarette for kids, just so they could start with something that was more mild. But it was all intended on ultimately moving them towards Camels and Chesterfields and Lucky Strikes, okay? Just a whole product introduction to a 12-year-old. My father told me when I was 12, I know you're going to start now. I started when I was 12, Eddie. Just don't take the quarter out of my pockets. Earn the quarter for the cigarettes, because I know you're going to start smoking. And my father knew it, and guess what? These companies know it too. And that's why they're marketing to them, because they have a customer for life. And ultimately, my father died from lung cancer. Our responsibility is to make sure that we just don't allow these kids to get hooked. And the FDA has to act. We have to act. We know that if a kid doesn't start smoking by the age of 20, the chances of them starting to smoke is almost zero. And so that's why they target it. Otherwise, they don't have a long-term business model. I thank you, Mr. Chairman, for this very important hearing.